We had a nationally recognized program in the early 2000s that we built from scratch. It was used as a model for programs all over the United States. Because of the budget problems that occurred in the late 2000s, specifically in 2007, Truancy was one of the programs that was cut. In 2011, the grand jury, the civil grand jury, came out with a report talking about the problem of truancy and what can be done about it, and noting that the fact that we lost our truancy program seemed to be related to the spike in truancy.
As a crime prevention tool, education is probably the strongest tool that is out there. Obviously, criminals don't turn into criminals overnight. What we see is that a lot of students and youths, it takes a long time to get to where they are, even to get to a juvenile court. And what we try to do is to pay attention to them, make sure that they know what kind of choices they are making, and we are there to be there to support them.
It's a societal problem when it gets out of control. It can affect businesses, it can affect neighborhoods, and that's the beauty and that's the respect that I have for the district attorney's office in pulling this together, is they don't see it as a school problem. They don't see it as just a family problem. You don't know until you come to having the individual conversation with students in regards to why aren't they coming to school. Because many times it's not illness driven. It could be bullying. It could be a lack of connection with other students in the class. It could be a disinterest in a certain teacher or a subject area.
Maybe there's a learning disability issue. There could be a problem at home. There could be a problem with parenting. There could be a problem with the schools.
There have been a number of situations where principals have shared with me that the crux of the matter in this case for a student might have been a bullying situation. And a simple matter of getting the right people in the room, a simple matter of having the right dialogue take place.
Actually, two goals to the Truancy program. The first goal is to comply with California's Compulsory Education Act. The law in California provides that all children ages or grades K through 12 must go to school and have a regular education. The second goal of our program is a crime prevention program, and that entails the fact that statistics support the notion that truancy is a #1 problem of juvenile delinquency.
We know that students who are dropouts, who are habitually truant, they're at a higher risk of obviously not finishing their education, not going on to college. Studies show that they're at a higher risk of experimenting with drugs and alcohol, and that at some point in time, they're more likely to turn to a life of crime, and unfortunately, at the other side of the spectrum, they're more likely to be victimized as victims of crime as well.
Parents are notified after 3 absences through a very formal letter. It's not passing judgment so much on the absences, it stresses primarily the need to attend school.
After that, at 6 days of unexcused absences, families are invited to a group after-school meeting where they are educated on what the laws are, the seriousness of truancy, and the importance of education, obviously, and the local resources and programs that are available to help treat whatever is causing that truancy issue.
After about 8 to 10 absences, if it continues, a second letter will go out.
We would go into what's called a Truancy Mediation Team meeting. At that point, I'm at that meeting and I let them know that they're one step away from a school attendance review board, which at that point there could be legal consequences. At 14 days of unexcused absences, a student and a parent would be referred to SARB by the school. And at that point we bring in the whole team, and by team I mean the district attorney's office, of course, probation, law enforcement, the schools, child welfare services and social services, and local community agencies. And what we try to do is we come up with a plan to get that student, that family back on track, that student back in school. And we also let them know that after that, if there is continued truancy, there could be potential legal consequences as well.
I'm here to arm you with as much information as I have. Any other questions, if I miss anything, here's my card. I try to call back within 24 hours. But what I want you to know is that these are your rights, this is what the law states, But if we cross that line, nothing personal, I have to file this document. I have to send you to court. I have to push that referral through to probation. I have to let probation know what your attendance is looking like now.
So we offer various types of programs and services at any stage when we do meet a student and family. And some of those services can be something as simple as the County Mental Health Access Line. It can be a local hospital if health is an issue. It can be a drug or alcohol treatment program if that's an issue as well.
We are really lucky in Santa Maria. We have a parent project group. It's just a parenting classes, 10 weeks, once a week at night, 6 to 9. And it's $25 for all 10 weeks, and parents can go, but their children can go too. So you have two different classrooms. You have a classroom for your parents, because adults learn differently than our children, and a classroom for children, and they have the same lessons, but they're taught a different way. We also have Teen Court, which is through CADA, and they're really great also. So those are the two, I would say, the two major hitters that we refer to.
It's our belief that the number one way to prevent crime in the future is to invest in kids today. And that fact is borne out in study after study, statistic after statistic.
We don't give up on students, we don't give up on parents. And the great thing about last year is that of all the school districts in Santa Barbara County, all the school districts had identified 6,849 students as initially truant. That means they're beginning to have a truancy in school attendance issue. So we started meeting with them, and after graduated responses, what we were able to do is boil that number down to only 4 secondary school students who we ultimately had to bring to court. The best part about that is even after bringing those 4 students to court, we're still working with them. And with 2 of those students, they are now in court and they're being monitored by a juvenile court judge. And they have no consequences so far, because I'm happy to say that they have come back to regular school attendance. So what we try to do is obviously not fast forward students to the criminal justice system, but really sit down with them, figure out why they're not going to school, and provide the appropriate response.
The district has hovered between 95 to 96% attendance of kids in seats on any given day for the last 3 to 4 years. Since this program has been in place, we've been teetering at the 97th percentile. And in fact, if you look at our average over the last 6 to 7 months, we're probably at 97%. That might not seem like a lot in regards to growth, but when you're in the numbers and the percentiles that we're in, it is significant.
There was a little guy, he's in 3rd grade, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, which who knows anymore. But he's in 3rd grade, and he came into the room with his mom and his younger sister. We had a conversation about, why are you missing school so much? And he said, I just don't like school. And Mom confessed he does give her a really hard time. Single mother, works in the fields, 2 kids, so she's gone for a lot of the day and needs all the help that she can get, especially with a growing boy and a little one. I said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a police officer. Really? Well, don't you think you need to go to school? Yeah, I guess, because then I have to be smarter than the bad guys. Yes, that's true. So I made a deal with him, and I said, look, if you can give me perfect attendance for the next month, I promise I will ask my very good friend, Andrew Bryce, who works at Santa Maria Police Department. He's an SRO assigned to Pioneer Valley High School, if he could do me this favor and come visit you and hang out and have a conversation with you about what it takes to be a police officer. And he smiled. It was just the biggest smile ever, like a crescent moon, huge. He lit up, and we had that conversation. We made the deal, we shook on it, and sure enough, 4 weeks later, I check in on his attendance, and he has perfect attendance. He was asking the assistant principal when was the police officer coming? When was the visit going to happen? So I made a phone call and I pled and asked for another favor. I always ask Andrew Bryce for a lot of favors when it comes to our truancy issues. And sure enough, he agreed. He took stickers to the school, took this special student a special meal, played kickball. They got to play kickball together. They took pictures. I have pictures of them. It was just such an awesome moment. That was a victory. That felt so great. Not necessarily, I guess, finding our parents. That, to me, that means that I failed. I should have thought outside the box. Whereas with this story, with his perfect attendance, that felt like the best win ever.
This year, I would say our new program is every bit, if not more successful than the program that cost 3 times as much. So we couldn't be more pleased.
I just think they've done a heck of a job. They really have, and they've monitored it very, very well. The actual staff that the district attorney has hired is incredibly good, and DA Dudley's, just her consistency and follow-up is amazing.
It's great to meet with students and parents at a one-on-one meeting, and they come in and before meeting me, they're afraid to meet with the district attorney because obviously you only meet with the district attorney when you're in trouble. But it's always great to see them coming in with scowling faces and leaving smiling. Obviously, they don't all feel that way about having to meet with me. But the greatest reward in working with this program is when I see students again, and it's not in juvenile court, they're back in school, and they've let me know what big of a difference it is. Something as simple as referring them to the right program, as someone paying attention to their school attendance or how they're doing in school. And I have to say that is the best thing about working in this program.